What is up, guys? Welcome back for another video in this series where we are torture testing the different chassis systems. I was kind of running out of ideas, so this time with the 106, I decided to, just come up with something. So we're going to go drop it on hard surface, and on top of that, we're going to run every rifle, like quite a bit of rounds, quite a bit of drills and stuff, and then immediately test them, and we'll see if we can get that, because so far everything is passing every test quite well. So I'm just having to come up with different ideas to try and see if there's anything I can do to get this thing or any of the other ones to fail. To get a little more brutal with these things, we are out here in my driveway area, and we are on basically this compacted white rock, which is going to be almost similar to dropping on concrete. I am not going to drop on the optics themselves because I feel like that's going to possibly induce an optic failure, and that's not what we're after. We're trying to see if these mounting systems will fail. But anyway, we're going to drop from shoulder height. So you can see that's some marking there, and it actually moved my safety a little bit, but other than that, everything seems good. And let's do the other two. Jmac Saiga, same thing. And I mean, we got like a little bit of a mark here. This one does have a little bit of an advantage, I guess you could say, because it does have this side rail sticking out on the receiver. But I can see on the mount here where that took some damage, so at the very least, it got a little bit of torque on it. So let's move on to the SureShot. All right. SureShot still has some grass clippings in there from the last episode, but now it's going to have white rock. All right. So, same thing as Jmac. You can see it took a hit right there on the side rail, but we do have a little bit of white rock and damage on the nut for that mount. So still put some torque on that, and yeah, let's go back to the range area and see what we get. All right, we're back out on the range area. Like I mentioned and showed before, the TWS took the hardest hit, but I think it's pretty fitting because this gun is the most, or this setup, this dust cover is the most in question out of all three. So before we get into grouping and everything, I just want to mention that I watched, I think it's Blue Jean Operator, watched his video. I believe his TWS dust cover, he said, was a few years old, and I think he ran a whole combat load through it and then checked zero after printing a group, and it did shift. Granted, I'm not going to run a whole combat load through there, but we are going to run a bunch of drills with this thing before we go to group it, and we are going to run some drills through the other one just to be fair, and see what we get. Before we move on further, mentioning Blue Jean Operator's video and talking about his being a few years old, in one of the previous videos I mentioned that I have had one of these things before. It was on a 7.62 by 39 Vepr rifle. Back then, this recoil spring guide in the back, you had to fit that. And then, I don't know if you guys can see this little part right here. That little tab, it's already bent in. I remember my old one having two. It had one on either side. And you had to bend them both in, which I don't think that I did. And I never had any problems with it. So it's just odd that I've seen them, just in my own experience, seen them do some updates, and it's still considered the Gen 3. But this one so far is very, very user-friendly. It's super easy to install. I think in Clay's video, he said he gave it like a 2 out of 5 as far as difficulty, and I would agree. It's pretty simple. I mean, if you can read, comprehend, and follow directions, then you can do that one pretty easy. Just going to fire a few rounds first, not necessarily any drills, but just get some rounds out of this thing. got a round in. I'm gonna do 2 rounds, transition, 1 round, reload, 1. Here we go. All right, we're 35, 40 yards-ish. I'm just gonna do a 1, reload 1 from back here, from low ready. That one felt pretty good. I'll do a 1, reload 1. The second round will go to my 8-inch gong down here. And what do you say, we'll go from belt like competition. All right, so I've got to say, just trying to hit that that plate from here, and we're talking 8-inch plate, I'm having to aim over to the right. Because as you saw, the first couple rounds didn't really connect. So I feel like this thing may have shifted. So let's keep going. All right, let's do 3 rounds, reload 3 rounds. Again, from the belt like competition. That felt pretty good. Like we got a round in. Let's just do a bill drill from back here. Here we go. All right, let's do 2 rounds, transition, 2 rounds, reload. I've got a 4-inch steel there, and then we'll transition over to the 8 if I hit them both, because on my reload mag, it looks like I've got 3 rounds left. So let's see. And this thing is getting screaming hot, this Ultimac, and it's hot outside. So anyway, here we go. Right, missed. Got it. Got it. All right, still holding that trend. I'm having to hold over to the right from over here to hit that 4-inch steel. Not a crazy amount, but I am holding right now. But if I remember right, not to say right a bunch of times, but if I remember correctly, I should say this thing was grouping to the left before. So maybe it's not bad. Who knows? Let's keep it going. All right, let's do 1, reload 5 right here. Again, competition style. And here we go. All right, let's do 2, reload, transition 2. Do over the shoulder this time. Very nice. Now we're gonna do 3, reload, transition 3. We'll start from the right this time. God, this, I can't hardly put my thumb up here on this gas tube anymore. Now we're just gonna play around a little bit. Ah, God. That handguard is stupid hot. All right, last 30 before we lay it down, shoot some groups. So let's get after it. I'm gonna try and shoot these relatively quick. I'm not necessarily gonna do a mag dump, but do some transitions, stuff like that. So here we go. Man, cannot hardly hang on to that handguard. All right. Like you saw, and like I said, I'm having to grab my little Jmac Customs tab, this M-LOK tab, because this gas tube is so screaming hot. And right here where my handguard retainer comes through the handguard, that is also insane. It is boiling hot. So yeah, we've given this thing the best chance it can to fail. And we're gonna shoot it while it's hot. See if that has any effect on this thing moving back here. But like I say, it already looks like it may have shifted a little bit. So let's dive into it. All right. Let me get this turned down to where I can give it the best chance possible. But we're here at 50. And we're gonna see if we actually did have a shift in zero. Try and shoot a group here with that tab. All right, let's go see what we've got. All right, so just as suspected, used to be, I believe we were grouping about right here. We were all the way off of this 6-inch target at only 50 yards. So that is definitely an impact or a point of impact shift in the system with just a red dot on it, dropped on a hard surface. So I don't know, we'll see how we'll pace these, see how the other ones do, and then we'll recap everything at the end. Jmac Saiga. Let me make sure dot about where I want it. It is so bright out here, my dot's almost all the way up. But we'll do 2 reload transition 2. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna say so far, it appears that the Jmac is still where it should be. Let's reload, get this mag prepped, and this next one we'll go for some of the smaller targets and we'll really be able to tell. Okay, so we'll do 2, 2, reload. We'll come up to the 8-inch gong and then go over to the 4. And again, let's do it from the belt competition. Make sure, yep, we are loaded. Here we go. Oh yeah. Easy, easy, easy. So far it's looking like the Jmac has held true because yeah, I'm able to make hits way easier. All right, this mag is empty. I got a round in the chamber. Let's do head box only on these 2 C zones, reload, and then come back for the 8-inch. Go over the shoulder this time. Oh yeah. Got it. Got it. All right, let's do 3, reload transition 3. Over the shoulder again. All right, we'll do 1, reload 1, transition 2. From belt again. Last few rounds, I'm gonna go 1, transition 1, reload, go to the 8-inch gong because the 4-inch gong fell down. So let's see, here we go. Let me get a little closer. Oh yeah. Can't miss. Can't miss with this thing. While this thing is still boiling hot, just like the Texas. All right, let's go see what we got. All right, so our group is a little bit over to the right. If I remember correctly, that's where it was before. Also pretty decent group. It's kind of weird how AKs seem to miraculously start grouping a little better once you slap them around a little bit. But I think it's also interesting that while that barrel was hot, it produced that good of a group, but also no shift. So that's another thing. We're kind of doing two things in one. While these barrels are hot, we're seeing how they play with the chassis system and stuff, and maybe that was the issue with the Texas Weapon Systems. I don't know. It's just something we'll have to possibly keep testing on. But anyway, I'd say Jmac Saiga gets a pass on this. All right, last but certainly not least, SureShot chassis Saiga. Just going to continue with running little drills. I think I'm going to do 1, reload 1, transition 2. Start from the belt. Make sure our dot, there we go. All right. All right, mix it up a little bit. Let's start here. 1, reload 8-inch gong. Then we'll go over here to the C zone and then the 4. How about that? Make sure, yep, round in chamber. Low ready, here we go. Easy hit, easy hit, easy hit. So, just like the Jmac, it's just easy as hell to make these hits. So my prediction is we haven't seen any shift in this. And again, if you've been following me on Instagram, you know this thing has already passed a lot of drop tests and other abuse. So this one comes to no surprise to me. All right, let's do a 1, transition 1, reload 1, transition 1. That's I really like that drill. It builds obviously your reload mechanics and your transitions at the same time with a relatively low round count. So let's just do this one from low ready also. Here we go. Oh, missed that one. There we go. Yep, miss was definitely my fault. But let's make it a little more interesting. All right, let's go, well, we're gonna start on the 8-inch, go to the 4-inch, reload, C-zone, transition, C-zone. So that should test us pretty good. I'll go over the shoulder for this one. And hit, oop, missed. Hit, hit, hit. Kind of fell apart on that one. We might try that one again. So 4-inch gong fell down. So I'm just gonna come up, do 2 on the 8, reload, and 1, transition 1. So we'll go from the belt. Pretty good. Another little shout out to Justin and Jmac Customs. We're gonna spin the last, whatever, 5-6 rounds or so through this thing. Got this RRD, I forget what this is called, but it's the compensated flash hider. And this rifle is tuned so well that I really don't need a brake. In fact, when I had a brake on it before, it was actually pushing my muzzle downward, which is a really odd recoil sensation, and there's not really anything you can do to compensate for that. Whereas if it's going up, you can kind of lean into it a little bit more. But this thing has a little bit more rearward recoil, but it stays flat though. So I mean, again, I can always compensate for that a little bit. So let's watch these. I mean, I was able to keep those pretty much on target, almost like a break. All right. So no different than the other two. While she's hot, we will see we're getting zero shot. Let's go see what we got. All right, so we are grouping roughly in the same area we were. Granted, these shots look like they are a tad bit over to the right. So it looks like it is possible that the SureShot has even shifted over to the right, which I find to be crazy because that dust cover is all one piece with the chassis. So yeah, I don't know, and it could be because it's hot too. That might not be an actual shift in zero. It might just be that's what the the zero does while it's hot. So anyway, let's do a recap and see where we're going to go from here. All right, so I think just to recap first and foremost, it does look like the Jmac Saiga is holding up the best out of all of them. Nothing against Jmac, but I did kind of anticipate the SureShot to perform a little bit better because again, this is kind of one piece. I mean, there's no moving parts to it. So that said though, again, as when we were going into it, I do really like Jmac stuff. The lock up to this thing, as I mentioned, is brilliant. And obviously in practice, it's showing, just how solid this thing really is. But let's touch on the Texas Weapon Systems. So admittedly, I did shoot more rounds out of this gun because again, it's kind of the underdog between the two, or all three of these. I will say, it may have shifted due to the heat. I doubt it because that's a pretty dramatic shift. That said, with a lot of these hinge dust covers, sometimes we'll see where they will, and I think Clay mentions that in his video on the Texas Weapon Systems, where it has like an initial shift and then it settles. So who knows? Maybe that is the case for, the Texas Weapon Systems, especially possibly the SureShot. I don't know. So after seeing all that, let me know what you guys think. Do you think we should continue with the Texas Weapon Systems? Do you guys say, hey, it's done? Do you guys want to continue me to show possibly shooting it again while it's cooled down? Because I haven't, since that was filmed, I have not shot this again. So we could shoot it again, see if that was actually heat that made it drift. We could keep going and test all three of them with LPVOs. We could just stop with the Texas Weapon Systems if you guys want to declare it dead in the water and continue to test between the Jmac and the SureShot. But basically, I need your guys' input. I need to know what else it is that you guys want to see from these things. And anyway, you know what to do. Hop in the comments. Let me know what you think. Thanks for stopping by, watching another video. If you would, please like and subscribe. It helps me out because I'm still shooting up my valuable 545 for you guys' entertainment.